I've done some research to look at the history of how corporations won fundamental rights. Citizens United really is only the most recent example of a 200-year history of corporations going to the Supreme Court and claiming constitutional protections. And they've been remarkably successful at doing it. The first Supreme Court case on the rights of corporations was decided in 1809, a half century before the first Supreme Court cases on the rights of women or African Americans. And so corporations have really been pushing for rights for a long time. One of the things that I take from my research, though, is that we want to think about corporate rights in a relatively nuanced way. Because there's a lot of different kinds of corporations, and there's a lot of different kinds of rights. And for instance, if we were to declare, as some constitutional amendments have proposed, to say that corporations have no rights under the Constitution, I worry that that goes a little bit too far. While I understand and sympathize with the desire to overturn Citizens United, if corporations have no rights, then corporations have no rights of property under the Constitution, which means the government can seize their assets. If corporations have no due process rights, then corporations can be charged with crimes without the government having to prove they're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And of course, major media corporations like the New York Times, CNN, these are corporations, and if corporations have no rights, then it's not clear how they're protected against censorship. So I think we have to think about it in a kind of a nuanced way. And we also talk about a lot of different kinds of corporations. If we say corporations have no rights, do we mean ExxonMobil? That's what we're kind of thinking of. But there's a lot of different kinds of corporations. Planned Parenthood is a corporation. The Sierra Club, the NRA, most of your favorite nonprofits are corporations at the end of the day. The American Constitution Society is a corporation. It's a nonprofit corporation. And so we also want to distinguish among different kinds of corporations, because if we ban all corporations from having constitutional rights, we're banning Planned Parenthood from having constitutional rights and protecting women's rights to choose. And I think we just want to think about those different kinds of rights that are out there and the different kinds of corporations that are out there, and make sure that whatever amendment language that we have is targeted to get at the problem we really want to get at, and not targeting, and won't have the unintended consequences of stopping the kinds of corporate rights that in some circumstances, when push comes to shove, we don't really disagree with. The fact that corporations might have a property right, or nonprofit corporations might have some speech rights.